Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV live on Facebook and YouTube. And as you can see, we're joined by the guest tonight, Marshy. Marshy, how you doing, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah, good evening, early evening. Yeah, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. I know it was almost like relatively late notice, but thanks very much, guys. As always, my name's John, your host, and I hope you're all doing really well as always. So let's have a quick shout out to everybody that's in the group chat. Sofian, hello, mate. Good to see you again. Danny, hello, Danny. Robert Gresto, morning, mate. And then Darren, morning, all. Hope you're all okay. Bex is actually early for once. She's actually almost on time. I'm impressed with that. She's normally comes in about half an hour after halfway through it. So good. Nice to see you, Bex. Mark, hello, mate. Good to see you. Mick, hello, guys. Happy, but thank you very much. And where are we? Bloody hell, the chat's going crazy. I'm loving this. Mark to say happy birthday, 40th birthday, mate. I'm 50 in a few months, mate. I feel your pain. I really, really do. Charlie's here. Hello, Charlie. Good to see you. Luke's in as well. Hello, mate. Good. Andy Walsh as well. Good to see you, mate. Ian Cook, welcome back. Good to see you again. Nick Squire, Jesus Christ Almighty.
It's going well.
Everyone was having a conversation. It's good. I'm loving it. Nick's missus. That's right. Mick's missus here, I should say. Mandy, hello. Thank you very much, hon. I'm guessing that's Mrs. Smith. And yeah, pretty much everyone else is having a conversation. So, topic of today, because there's not a lot of West Ham, to be honest with you. So I'm quite glad we've got these really, really good subjects to talk about. First and foremost, Marshy, because we ain't seen you for a couple of months, because the last time you came in was a few weeks before the end of the start of the suspension. I was going to say the end of the season then, but the start of the suspension. Yes, how do you feel the season's gone so far, Sunshine?
Well, I think there's I don't know really. Obviously, we had a chance to be relegated, didn't we, and seemed to sort of pick ourselves up a little bit. And I think this is you sort of get a bit of momentum together, sort of thing, and it's like an extended sort of holiday. It's like an extended international break, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But, I must admit, I don't know, I think maybe talk for the majority when I say this, but I've not missed it as much as what I thought I would do. I think, other commitments, other things, and, obviously getting over there mainly to see the people, like, all your mates, and do all the socialising aspects, and the results always been a bonus that comes with it, isn't it, really? So, hopefully, there's a lot of different stuff in there subject to discussion and, behind closed doors, when are we next going to get to a game? Is it going to be next season? I've even heard things like, the whole of next season behind closed doors as well. So, how true that is, you don't know what to sort of believe, do you? But hopefully we can all come together pretty soon. I know Boris has got a destination as well, in it 7, so I don't think there's going to be much change on that, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Marcia, 100% on both sides of that. With Johnson's message, it's probably going to be the same thing as Scotland's message yesterday, that the exercise is you're going to be able to go out and get a little bit more exercise, but other than that, still stay at home as much as you can, unless you actually have to go out, which is well, you more than me, mate. You know how hard it is, and Ryan's in the same boat as you for that point of view as well. Not been able to see. Ryan was saying on Friday night that he wasn't able to see his boy for 6-7 weeks. Sorry, his daughter, I should say, 6-7 weeks.
I'm 7 weeks as well. So.
You got to see him virtually early at the day, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. It's hard work. But I mean, I really, as much as I hate commuting up to London, I can't wait to do it again, because I'll be able to go and see everybody that I know.
Well, it's taking everything for granted as well. I think everyone's of the opinion now that not going to take so much for granted. Whether it's football, work, just general life in itself. Dealing with something like this sort of pandemic is pretty serious, and maybe on the onset, you don't sort of realise how bad it is. So hopefully, the majority are keeping as safe as they can, and they're not like these layouts out and about, in the parks. And, I think Victoria Park I saw was just a joke and disgrace. I think they can't deal with it, can they? Which is a typical thing, I think, from this country's point of view. the best about, you'd argue. But I mean, with this, I don't think you can. I think countries were more prepared for it, if you like, and sort of stamped on it early. And I think we sort of got left behind.
Yeah, we did. And the problem with that is, I hate to wax lyrical about things that people have probably already said already. It's the Tory government closing hospitals in the 70s and 80s and 90s, mate. If we had everybody, all those hospitals back open, we would probably be in a slightly better position than Germany are. Because they've been out, they've had. I mean, I don't know the full ins and outs over the last 30 years of their stuff, but that's the problem is we didn't have enough. We weren't prepared for something like this because of all those cutbacks. But anyway, mate, as everybody is saying, there's a few other guys have nice little conversations going on in the chat as always, which is quality. Also, for that matter, so let's do this in chronological order, shall we?
Yes.
Today, obviously, the official West Ham site put up the live stream, well, the premiere, I should say, of the premiere of the 1980 FA Cup final. So, Marshy, I know, for obvious reasons, you weren't around for it. I was just hedging down a canal, shall we say, for lack of a better way of putting it, as that game was going on. So we obviously didn't have the we don't have any of the match day experience. I mean, Wally Wells in the chat. I'm sure he'll be able to give his input, have his inputs on that. But in terms of everything, mate, I mean, how do you feel? Setting aside the Intertoto, the playoffs, how do you feel that we haven't won a proper
domestic trophy?
A proper cup in literally the last 40 years?
Oh, gutted, mate, gutted. I'd give anything to give a right arm to be at Wembley, for an FA Cup final, even a League Cup final. Do you know what I mean, John? Give me that. I think, like I say, it's very long in the tooth that we've had to wait such a delay. But hopefully we can sort of play some more justifiable football, in these cup competitions to be able to warrant moving forward. And, we've had a couple of decent opportunities, I think more so in the League Cup. I think, was it last season's FA Cup run as well was quite polite to us. But we've just never really been that team to sort of cement, as I've always said, there should be daylight between the Premier League and lower league sides. With, no disrespect to the lower leagues, we've been there as well. But, you've... And a lot of that, I think, is playing your best 11, albeit you have a league game, don't you, sort of with a week to go and, replays in the week and whatever. But I think you've got to set up in the right way. But no, I would, the fact it's been 40 years for a big club. And, at the end of the day, West Ham, we are a big club. So we're an established football club as well in the main. So, yeah, I would literally give anything. I mean, like I say, play a final. I think I was 18 with my old man. I think I remember being in the upper tier behind that Gerrard shot, and it breaks you, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not ideal, so hopefully we're going to be on the more positive end of one soon, and we can all enjoy that.
Well, Henry Richards is in the chat. The chat is where we go. I knew it would move just as I clicked on it. He said it was 6 in 1980. So Henry, let us know what you remember, because Gonzo was about the same age. He was about 4 or 5, if I remember correctly, when the game was played and stuff. I remember when I saw him last summer, and he said it a few times before, afterwards as well. For that matter, he did say that he was bribed. He was given an action man to play with instead of going to the game by his old man. So fair enough. That's your priorities when you're that age. You know what I mean?
As you do. I was 8 years too late, unluckily. So yeah.
But the closest we got, without talking about what happened 14 years ago, was a little bit sooner than that. Was under Avram Grant with the semi-final of the League Cup. Absolutely, I was there for both games, and that was a bloody cold night on that February night, mate. I tell you, in Birmingham. Oh, mate, unbelievable.
That. Yeah, that's like you say, that's as close as we got when St Andrews was quite hostile as well, wasn't it? To say the least. That weren't ideal, but
the police didn't exactly help us afterwards. We're being penned in for an hour.
Yeah, of course,
mate. Honestly, if it would have I was my personal little truth on that. I was baking for go to the piss. I was absolutely aching for it. If that had gone on any longer, it would have been something out of Dumb and Dumber, mate. I'm telling you, it was
a problem. Yeah.
it really was. We were there for what it felt like half the week, but it was about an hour. We were all penned in, and I'm sitting there looking at the bloke, saying, "Mate, please, I need to go to the toilet. Can we get out of here?"
Yeah, just think you're going to go legging it down the road or something.
because we were staying in the hotel just down the road, mate, and it was just you know what that hill's like from St Andrews Hill, whatever it's called. I'm quite a fast walker anyway, but mate, I fucking missioned it very, very quickly down to that hotel.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But you know that was heartache. And I mean, even at the first half of that second leg, we were okay. We were doing well, and then
we were there. Yeah, we were there. We're always in touch. We just got to, like you say, we just got to try and go that, you know, them final margins, like, you know, and obviously the creation of the chances, like, you know, they get put away. It's daylight, and we're there. But yeah, hopefully in the coming time, it's going to be less heartache and more sort of positivity. Hopefully, I mean, like I say, give me a League Cup, but the FA Cup's a bit more special, and it's a lot more behind that.
Oh, of course,
it's the one that you want to win.
It is. I mean, to be honest, mate, 40 years was nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, we came very close. We got Liverpool in the League Cup final the following year in '81. And you know, Jazz Winder. He was saying in the Hammers Poles community that he watched the League Cup final back, and apparently that goal that they scored shouldn't have stood. So if VAR was in check, then
there we go. We'd be all right. Yeah, we'd have been all right.
It would have gone to penalties, mate. I tell you, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but hopefully one day, not too distant future, we can win one. I mean, I'm always for hoping.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to Luke, the only way we're going to get anything is the fact that the club invests properly. And I'm not saying going out and spending 50, 60 million on every single player you can possibly find, but bringing in the right player and the right manager to do it. Because we had it in those days. You know, that's one of the reasons why we haven't done anything in 40 years is because not just West Ham, but there's a lot of other clubs as well, for that matter, that football's changed so much over that period of time. And to quote was it Sam Neill out of the Jurassic Park movie? We're all struggling to catch up. You know, it's because that's what it is. We've had some good players, we've had some good managers, but we haven't had a good system for far back as I can remember. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially now when they're talking about, you know, sort of listening to offers for anybody. I mean, like you say, we're not a club that's going to go forking out the best part of 50, 60 for any one player. I mean, Haller was 45? 42 was it? 40, you know, around that mark, same as Anderson. And, you know, you could easily see them go in the summer. So, but obviously what with all this, you know, pandemic going on, it makes you wonder what the sort of apple's going to be, really, doesn't it?
Mm. But like you say, mate, you know, we've been taking things way too for granted, and we're also being taken for granted in terms of supporters as well, for that matter, with all the stuff that the clubs we've all had to put up with over the last 20, 30 years as well, for that matter.
Exactly
money going in, hardly coming out, and everything else, unfortunately. So, because there's been quite a few questions coming in here in the chat, I'm just going to try and figure out where they were, because where are we? Here's a good one. I'll let you answer this one first, mate. Three Hammers are asking if you could only relive one happy memory forever, what would it be?
One happy memory forever, I'd say.
Well, the West Ham memory, I should say.
I'd say. I think there was a couple, really. I think that FA Cup win, I think 2001, Di Canio up at Old Trafford. That was pretty good. And the Tevez, obviously, great escape, 07. But I know we're going to touch on it, and obviously this is a day for it. But I think as well, you know, the last day at Upton Park, winning the game, all the atmosphere behind it. Obviously, not all the negativity sort of now with it all, but just for an atmosphere like that, everyone coming together, the whole build up to it. I was talking about that on the sort of social media earlier. You know, like everyone in the roads, everyone having a beer, just early doors, all meeting up, and there's nothing quite like that. You know, like the shivers down the spine when Bubbles comes on, and obviously you're not going to feel that any other game because there's no real sort of importance like that behind it. And I was sort of saying as well that I think it was written in the stars that we were going to win that. And just as well we did, really.
Sorry, guys. Really sorry about that. We lost connection. So let me just invite Marshy back in again. So what happens, unfortunately? Bear with me 2 moments. Just going to get him back in. Oh, there he goes. Sorry about that, mate. Just literally lost the internet connection just as you were going off on one there for a second. So I have to repeat the question. But I know to say it, but sorry, everyone.
No worries. No.
So I'd say because I lost you just as you were coming to what your West Ham memory was going to be.
I think, as I say, I think the last game at Upton Park, I think, with all the importance behind it and, everyone coming together, how special that occasion was, the waiting after the game and old players coming out and actually winning that game, like I say, was written in the stars, weren't it? I think that we were going to do it. Even when Martial scored, and it was sort of like, a bit edgy and we really want to do it. But like I say, I think that combines with the sort of Great Escape and the Di Canio at Old Trafford, which is one of my favourite kits, actually, that Fila Blue Navy one.
Yeah, it is smart.
So, yeah, definitely, yeah. I think those three are well up there.
Okay. So out of the three, which would you actually choose as your number one? I know it's hard.
I think number one would be the last game, I think. The last game at home would be... you don't forget it, do you? Do you know what I mean? You're looking back over things today, even being the day sort of 4 years ago, and the build up to it, how special it was, the importance behind it, and I think just everyone feeling the same. Do you know what I mean? Everyone going into it maybe a bit nervous, the upset was creeping in, but to have done it in the end, I think it was like emotional tears of gut, but obviously happy as well to remember all the good memories behind it. So yeah, definitely that. Definitely.
Yeah, my answer's exactly the same. It is definitely that last game, because it was written in the stars that it was going to be on my birthday as well. Because me being born on this day 40 years ago, the ironic thing is the night that we lost Dad was when we were beaten by Arsenal in January 2010. Dad was never into football in any shape or form, but it's just random how things in my life, have all been in various ways, have all been West Ham related, needed, intended or not. But yeah, I'd probably say, do you know, as much as I love the bowling, the last game at the bowling, it is definitely up there. But I would have to say the playoff final against Blackpool. Those are my top two.
Yeah, that day was incredible. Very good day. Yeah, very good day. And that was left it late, but sometimes better that way.
But not just that. I mean, for me, because I was living over in Surrey at the time, I got on the Jubilee line at Waterloo for Christ knows, I think about 9:30, I think it was, and got chatting to a couple of Blackpool fans. And we ended up necking shots down on the tube on the way down to the game and stuff. It was the whole day, just literally exactly, yeah. But literally right from the start, it was literally right. They had a good journey all the way through, and as I say, just having a good laugh with those guys. And then the game itself, the green drinks in the Green Man before and afterwards as well, for that matter. It was just it was mental. It was absolutely mental. But for me, yeah, the last day of the bowling just it just edges it. But my top two, 100%. Right. So let's crack onto it with a bit more gumption on that now, mate. To talking about the last day at the bowling.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Actually, I'll retract that. We'll do that in a minute. Actually, because I've just been double checking my notes. The interesting thing, I mean, it's obviously quite obvious, but at the same point, having Billy Bonds captain the side and winning 2 FA Cups in the space of 5 years, because obviously, and I know we've been, as a collective, we've all been saying it for the last 5 to 6 seasons now, but Noble's only got a couple of seasons left in him. But do you think we will ever get a chance to have a captain have a couple of FA Cup finals under his belt again?
You'd like to be positive and say, yeah, don't you? But I think, like I say, our track record in that competition speaks for itself, really, like 40 years. So I'd love to believe so. Do you know what I mean? Maybe in coming years that, like I say, Noble may not have much longer left. He actually seems to be kicking on a lot more now. When he's getting closer to hanging the boots up, hopefully, I've no doubt anyway that he'll be involved in the club, in the backgrounds, in the youth teams and the coaching levels and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I would love to think that someone, we've got some good kids coming through, so you'd like to think that we can, right the wrongs in the cup competitions, if you like, and obviously get there and to be walking them stairs, lifting it, and and then to be defending it, and you really want to make sure that you keep hold of it, win it again, and show that desire, that you did to have won it, and then carry that through. So yeah, I'd love to think so, but yeah, let's wait and see in the coming years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously the only captain that's lifted a trophy in the last 9-10 years has been Nolan, isn't it, for the playoff final itself?
Final, yeah.
But yeah, it is a shame, because at the end of the day, we need to have we need some luck. And I'll tell you one thing, and I hate to say it, and I really, really hate to say it, and everyone's going to probably crucify me for saying this. We need to change our theme song. I hate to say it, but we need to change Bubbles, because we're singing about the fact we don't do anything.
Well, I think, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say about that. I think once it gets going, I'm a bit on the fence with that as well, to be honest. Now that you say that, I think it's like anything, though, isn't it? Once it gets going, it's like it's hairs on the back of the neck stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
of course,
some of the time, it's a bit of a drag. But listen, that's what's associated with us, and a lot of people will account for that and agree with that. So yeah, I do know what you mean, though. It's a bit awkward at times, isn't it?
It is. I mean, but at the same point, we're proud of it because it's a song that says to the entire nation that we are proud to be underdogs, and we always have been the underdogs. I say this time 40 years ago, we were playing in League Two. What was League Two, and that's obviously now the Championship now. Yeah. But yeah, and we beat Arsenal. We beat Arsenal. So when people say the jinx of West Ham, there's a lot of things, but but you never know if we change the song. I mean, it's never going to happen. I don't want it to, but no. I honestly do think that is half the problem.
It's keeping the faith, John, as well. Do you know what I mean? I think in these competitions, because of our history, going out to lower league clubs, we're a little bit wary of it. And sort of, you've seen in a few of the games, the Newport game, the Oxford game was obviously a prime example of what happens when you don't sort of give it, and teams get involved and want to kick lumps at you, and that's what we need to work on. Do you know what I mean? We need to work on these teams that know that they're gonna, what you're gonna get from them, and you've got to work it so that you're gonna just outdo them in every sort of position, every aspect. The fitness levels obviously show, but they've got to cut out the fact that we're getting dicked, 4-0 Oxford. Back in the day, I remember being at games, Stockport, Northampton, Macclesfield, losing all sort of games like that. And, it wouldn't be happening if you were, and maybe it's all in the preparation, maybe it's, you don't want to say the players, but, and it's like some of the boys that we have now, they don't really know what it means. You have a no-ball, and then you've got someone like Haller Anderson that, obviously with no fault of their own, wouldn't have an idea as to just how much it means. So, I mean, if we can sort of get them players, encourage them, sort of get an arm around them like Noble would do anyway, being that figure. hopefully that can bring the best out of people, and we'll come the FA Cups and that we can kick on a lot more, hopefully.
And one song I'm really glad that Michael Jackson never covered was Bubbles, because if you think about the lyrics,
yeah, you can imagine,
and his little pet he had at the time as well, for that matter. So, you know, announcing to the world he's forever blowing off his monkey, but
that's a bit that's the luck that we need, isn't it? You know, when you say we haven't had any, that's the godsend.
But I mean, all joking aside, because obviously loads of people have covered it over the close to 100 years now. Out of all of the versions of Bubbles, taking out the way that how we sing it at football, whose version of Bubbles is your favourite?
I think the Vera Lynn. Do you know what I mean? I think it's not just for the VE Day and stuff like that, but I lost a good friend of mine a little while ago, and we walked into the church and that was playing, and it was sort of like he was West Ham through and through. I've done a lot of away days with him, and I must admit I listen to it a lot. It's on my playlist. I'm not worried not to sort of admit that, but I think that's a great sort of version. But obviously, the away day sort of versions that we sing as well, and it's a little bit faster. Everyone clapping, everyone in tune. Getting it across one way to the other. In that away section, sort of one end to the other, and getting it loud and generating that positivity. Is good. So yeah, definitely I'd say that one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I always listen to that quite a lot as well, and also I was about to say Steve Martin. Then that's a completely different one. Dean Martin. Dean Martin's really cool as well. Why Steve Martin copped in there, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. All right. So okay. So let's bring things a little bit later from 1980, because it was interesting. There was an article that I didn't even know existed, to be honest with you, up until looking for a few things of figuring out what was going on in and around 1980. There was an article I came across about West Ham Castilla in 1980 when we played them behind closed doors. Now, I genuinely didn't know about this when I talked to Luke this morning, but it kind of goes back on the same sort of things that I was talking about this morning. It said the article is hysterical, mate. If I find it again, I'll send it on to you. It's really funny to read. The first paragraph shows that the then chief executive, we all know about the problems that Len Kearns caused the club. But he was sent down to the directors. Sent down by the directors at half time to talk to John Lyall, to talk to the players to stop swearing.
Jesus,
because obviously it's behind closed doors, so you could hear everything that was going on. And I said to when I said to Luke this morning, I said, I'm from one point of view, that's the reason why I want to watch behind the closed doors to see who's shouting.
Yeah, just to hear everything. Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. To be fair, yeah, all the tactics, all the swearing.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, mate. I mean, it's a funny thing to hear. But what was it? I know for Wolves' game in the Europa League just before everything shut down.
Oh yeah, Turkey.
The commentators were saying for every other second, pretty much. Yeah, sorry if you can hear what's being shouted, but there's it's not being drowned out by anybody.
They can't. Yeah, they can't cover that up. Yeah,
it was funny. It was funny, but I mean, all jokes aside, what are your thoughts about behind closed doors?
It's obviously a no-go, isn't it? Football without supporters, as we all know. What is it? Especially for us, it's like we don't know any different, do we? Do you know what I mean? Like we don't. No one would really want to be doing that. Imagine watching it on the telly, or whenever you're going to be put on the telly, knowing that you would be there behind a goal, or generating that atmosphere. The team needs that. Do you know what I mean? They need that sort of encouragement behind them and the passion from all of us lot, and just to wheel them on. So no, I don't think, and all this neutral venue bollocks as well. I think it's. I mean, you'd argue that we play at a neutral venue anyway. So that's.
I did. I said to Luke this morning, we're playing at a neutral home ground, mate. So it doesn't make much of a difference.
No, it's like we are anyway. But no, I don't. Life without football, as we know it, and then again, we're not used to watching it on the box, are we? Only when we really need to. And, other commitments come in and, sort of families and everything else and work commitments and, just your general living aspects and stuff. It wouldn't be something that you'd want to get used to, is it? Like the behind closed doors. So hopefully, like I say, this is all in this pandemic, isn't it, really? Obviously I know he's addressing the nation now probably as we speak. So that'll
literally
be
now. Yeah,
that'll be
started
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Robert's made a good point. I can't remember what team it was, but they said I can't wait for to order my cardboard cutout. There was a team that said that there was given the opportunity to have fans take photographs of themselves and send them in for season ticket holders. A German team, if I remember correctly, and they were saying they were saying that. They would do cardboard cutouts for them to represent them in their seat for the behind the closed doors. That's one of the strangest things I've heard for a long time.
I think I've just on that as well. I think I heard something along the lines of like you can contact this company sort of siding, that be arranging it, or maybe the league as it is or whatever, that you can actually sort of, I don't know if you make a payment and it's sort of like you can have a song sort of put out, like, to try and generate that sort of atmosphere sort of thing. You just think like, well, what's it all about? Just get us all back in there. But like I say, that just goes to show how important and how serious this all is. Like, it's I think in the onset, I think maybe people, sort of in this country, as we sort of maybe a bit blasé, thinking, we won't catch up with us and whatever. But I think everyone, maybe now, the majority of people anyway, from what you see and read and on the social media and stuff, that we've all tried to keep distant where we can. And obviously I know for my personal aspects, I'm a sort of key worker, and I don't have the acceptable PPE, if you like, but I do have a form of, and I take all the relevant precautions that I can and keep my distances socially and things like this. So as I say, it all stems into that. So if we can maybe sort of edge closer to some more uplift in the lockdown procedure, then even with the pubs and the restaurants, opening apparently the latest they're going to open. You can imagine going to football without having a beer,
exactly,
and all that sort of thing, like. So I think all the pandemic stuff, we just got to hope for the best as soon as get the football back in and everything that the majority of us all love to do, like. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be soon.
Where are we? So Richie was saying it was the Mönchengladbach who was the team for the cardboard cutouts.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Mark's asked a very good question. Why is John still sober on his 40th? I'll tell you why I'm sober, mate. Is because I was putting together the intro video for this, and the last thing you want to be doing is editing a video together when you're drunk. It's not good. I've done it before, and I'm never ever doing it again. So that took me a few hours to splice everything together. Even though it's a 23-second clip, it took a while to get everything together properly. So yeah, that's why I'm drinking quite a fair bit now. To be honest,
catch up tonight, mate, can't you?
Well, I'm not working tomorrow. I've taken the day off. So yeah, because the plan was to be absolutely arsehole by this time
tonight. Yeah.
Now I'm just looking on the BBC website, because obviously keeping traps of what Boris Johnson's is saying. It's confirmed that a new COVID alert system will be put in place in England to track the virus. The PM has confirmed the system will use a scale of 1 to 5, and the alert level will be determined primarily by R, as in the rate of infection, and the number of coronavirus cases. So basically, it's going to be like a DEFCON 1 through to 5 sort of thing. Obviously 5 being the lowest and the 1 being the highest. I'm guessing. But yeah, I mean, there's as we were talking about beforehand, mate. I don't see him saying much more than hasn't already been publicised in the news over the last couple of days.
Same as a Scotland aspect, really. I think it's just a little bit more time to sort of exercise daily, if you like, and just uplift that side of it, and everything else you just got. But I think a lot of people are left in the mire as well. Like, now, obviously, I sort of know where I stand, if you like. It's not been any different for me, but for large amounts of people, I think it's left them sort of like questioning, what do I do and what do you do for the best? And obviously, you stay indoors, like, But I think it's just difficult for some because their working aspects are different, everyone's situations are different. You've got to earn a living, you know, pay your bills and all the rest of it, like everyone does. So, yeah, I think you're right, to be honest with you. I can't see. I think maybe people were hoping for something that was never going to come, but I think if they see all the people that they would have seen, you know, out over the weekend, I don't think the weather helped either. That obviously
helped
played a
today.
massive. It's helped today, yeah. It's helped today. Well, you knew it would change today, didn't you? Everyone's had an opportunity to worship the sun, for want of a better word.
Because I talked to my sister this morning, right? Because obviously, you know, we had a conversation about my birthday and whatnot, and she said, "What's the weather down like here?" I said it was beautiful, because it was at 10 o'clock this morning when I was talking to her. It was really, really nice weather, and now it's like 8 degrees as opposed to being 324 it was yesterday.
We're dropping. I think the weather in the week, I think, is going to be back to a sort of usual overcast and, you know, sort of a lot lower than it has been.
Let's just see what else he's been saying. Let's have a look. Right, so they're going on about the infection rates. Boris Johnson has said that there was some uncertainty, but the value of the rate of infection is between 0.5 and 0.9, i.e., per people that it will actually pass on to. So yeah, there doesn't really seem to be much coming out.
Strange, no.
He said, "I believe that as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, there is a strong resolve to defeat this together, and today a general consensus on what we could do. And I stress could. The only other man in politics that knows what the definition of the word means, because could is never a certainty.
No.
But because although we have a plan, it is a conditional plan. So." Yeah, I mean it's not much in
Doesn't
terms
sound
of
much different.
Yeah.
No.
I honestly think because I mean at the end of the day, because he would have addressed everything by now, and then it opens to questions. I was half expecting him to say that, like we were talking about earlier, the fact that this is going to go on for another 3 weeks, like as it is with Scotland. I was expecting it to come out, but yeah, you know, it was without using the coined Love Island thing. It is what it is, isn't it? So. Richie's saying, here in Spain, we have phases. We're on phase 0, and tomorrow was supposed to be phase 1, where bars were supposed to open their terrace for customers, but they now have postponed it. Totally understandable. There was something the other day, actually, there was in the news that's in, I think it was North Korea, I think it was, that they closed all the pubs and bars because somebody who tested for coronavirus was going around all the pubs and clubs. So they're trying to track everybody down that was in there at the time. Andy, heart feels for you, mate. I'm screwed as I'm still not allowed out. I'm guessing Andy's got a bit of a condition that he can't go out.
Yeah, and that's not great, is it? It's all kicking on together, really. Just trying to keep everyone positive. Obviously, it's, you know, everyone's struggling a bit, and days are different. But I mean, you know, there's a lot of people around to sort of pick others up, and I think that's the godsend as well. Like, you know, when things are not going too well, I think you've got a lot of good support and a lot of love from people that can sort of lift your spirits again. And it's affecting everyone differently, isn't it? So we just got to keep trying to crack on and the best we can, I guess.
And Fo wishes me happy birthday. Thank you very much, mate. That's much appreciated, as does opening guy and stuff. Random name for a channel, but fair enough. Fair play to you. Paul P says, "Hi Marshy, great to see you. Always nice to hear your options." I think he means opinions, but options.
Good man, Paul. Yeah, good man. No problem.
So all right, so let's wind the clock forward a little further now. Yeah, you obviously talked about it earlier about you being your favourite West Ham memory that you'd love to relive.
Yeah.
But in general, I mean, describe. I know it's a bit of a cliche question, but describe how you were feeling this day 4 years ago.
Very nervous, very sort of holding back the emotion, if you like, beforehand. I think I normally park sort of as if you're coming down Barking Road leading up to the Central pub, like, you know. I'd always have a few in there with my dad and sort of some people that, you know, we sit around still. I've done for the best part of 20 years. I think my first game when I was 4, so not that I obviously recollect a lot from there, but you know, that same walk, you know, the same people that you'd see turning around the corner. But there's obviously just a completely different feel to the last game. Like, you know, everyone was over there early, same idea, you know, last pie and mash and get in the pub and, you know, drinking early and sort of doing whatever you felt you needed to do in order just to soak up the occasion, if you like, you know. So I think during the game, obviously, really wanting to win, you know, get in there, see the t-shirts, you know, everyone coming together with that, you know, creating that sort of presentation, for want of a better word, and then to actually win the game. I think that because obviously growing up with Paolo Di Canio and the like, and, you know, sort of 96, 97 season, heading through to 99, you know, under Redknapp, which arguably is the best manager I've seen in my time. When the light shone on Paolo, like, you know, I think that was a cutting moment, like, you know, and hearing all the old boys talk about the memories and stuff, and it just it got you after, like, you know. I think when all the fireworks went up and, you know, that presentation after the game, and to know that we'd won it was one thing, like, you know, because like I say, that was written in the stars, but it sort of collated everything that, you know, West Ham's all about, like, you know, the people, the, you know, having the booze, all the singing, all the drinking, the laughing, but obviously I think it was more sort of the emotion at the end. I think maybe some good, but the majority not, knowing that, you know, sort of stepping out the ground and never going to be there again. And I actually took a trip over there not too long ago. I'd actually not been there since we'd left. And just the corporate greed, obviously, is a real thing, as we know in football. You know, it's business orientated. But to think of what it is now to what it was, and everyone's get up and go on a Saturday, like, you know, everyone, what time we're meeting in the pub, the train journey, just everything, you know, just about it. It was like leaving local where you live, meeting up with people along the way, getting in the pub, the cuddling, the handshaking, and cuddling people you don't even know, you know, like a general away game now. Like, that whole feel and atmosphere was just, as I say, it's unforgettable scenes, isn't it?
Before I say it, Rebecca and Nick, can you please block John WHU? He's used a photograph of me from 15 years ago saying that he is a nonce. So if you can please block that idiot as quickly as possible, would be much appreciated. So and also the new message that he's just put in, which I'm not going to say. But yeah, for me, that was the only birthday I've ever had where I was unbelievably nervous. Unbelievably nervous. Because I was working in the morning. I booked the half day. I don't know why I didn't book the whole day off, but I booked the half day for some random reason. Literally came home, got changed, came straight out, went straight into the supporters club. Actually, no, tell a lie. No, we were in the bowling for a little bit. And then we went into the supporters club. I missed that place. I really I missed both. To be honest with you, I missed the supporters club. I really do.
Yeah, I've memories of that quite vivid. But like, you know, my dad took me as a young kid, and I think I remember playing a bit of pool and snookering and sitting on the stairwell, looking into the ground. Just couldn't wait to get over there. Sort of like, you know, really young and sort of pre-10. So like I say, all of them things, like, you know, just all together, just it's gutting. Like, you know, it wrenches your sort of heart out. You know, I was watching some of the videos earlier that we've all been sort of watching and putting up and uploading, and it's just like, you'd love to relive it again, but just how cutting it is. I mean, it's arguably worse now, looking back at it, thinking, you know, I was in there and, you know, I knew what it's all about, and as nervous as we was, and, you know, winning the game was a necessity, really. I mean, it wouldn't have looked too good if we'd have lost or even drawn. So to win it was an added bonus. But I'd obviously give anything to redo it again.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It is. I'd love to relive it again, but I don't at the same point. Just because how emotional that closing ceremony is, as you were talking about, and also seeing Gonzo up on the big screen. He was in the video for it. But yeah, it looks like Baz is in the chat as well, mate. Marshy, shave your hair and be the new Ginger Pele.
New Ginger Pele, Jesus. I forget I've seen that. Is he in control of that account tonight?
Well, somebody's in control of it.
Somebody's behind it, yeah. No, don't get carried away, Baz. It's only I've got some fucking strong lighting in this flat, so it's not as ginger as what you think.
Just having a look through the details. I mean, Rebecca's very kindly, so I can find it again. She's basically summed up for a lot of things. They're saying just to update people, they're basically monitoring, and if it goes up again, i.e. the rate of infection, as people slowly go back to work and letting people sit outside, they limit everyone again. Fair enough. Richie says, you and me having something in common. We were both born on the day West Ham won the FA Cup. His was the 3rd of May, 75, 10 minutes before kickoff. So technically, yes, mate, you are a FA Cup child. What else? Okay, so yeah, he is confirming. It is bad. Yeah, and sign him up, Mr. Marshy.
Yeah, I'd love to be part of it all, mate.
But yeah, no, it was a hard day that day. It really was. As much as I'd love to, I want to relive that match all the time, because it was typical West Ham winning 1-0, losing, was it 2-1, and then we came back to winning 3-2
for 3-2.
Yeah, it was. So, Marshy, looks like you got a bit of an admirer tonight, mate. Young Sophie.
Marshy for PM.
Bex is asking when it comes through, John, what are you drinking today? It's normal Strongbow. Because yesterday I was having the dark fruits, and today it's just normal Strongbow. But bringing things up to speed now, mate. It was heartbreaking to read that Snodgrass is saying that some of his friends have lost family members and loved ones, I should say, due to this virus, and more specifically, the news that broke over the last 18 hours, 3 Brighton players being positive for coronavirus, 5 Spanish players, 2 players from Dynamo Dresden, and 3 Portuguese Vitória Guimarães, I think you pronounce that, players as well. Mate, words fail me if we're going to see football again this season.
No, well, obviously I say that doesn't help, doesn't it? I think that was it. Todd Cantwell from Norwich. I think he was. He tweeted after I see that first sort of break, when I see it, sort of saying that they're just human beings as well, like, you know. So it's not as if they're not going to get it. And I mean, if anything, effectively, sort of like, you know, when it came out, Arteta, I think, was the first one. Moyes had obviously, we'd been at Arsenal the week before or whatever. That was obviously the last game that we see. Moyes had been in obviously close connection with Arteta, as you would be, you know, sort of acknowledging each other. So
good mates as well, aren't they? Apparently.
Yeah, I think it's just like you just got to be careful, man. Like, it's just you got to do what's right. Like, you know, say I haven't seen my little boy for 7 weeks because I'm protecting him. Like, you know, I'm doing what's right for him. You know, I'm his dad. He knows that. So I mean, you know, you make the memories up when you sort of later on. But obviously, sooner rather than later, hopefully, everyone else is struggling in their own ways as well. But it just goes to show, like you say, you know, talking about it, just how serious it is. You know, like you just said about Snodgrass, you know, family members, close friends, you know, people very close to your heart. So, you know, to think that, I think some that, you know, you see out and about and that, thinking that they're just better, if you like, and never going to sort of catch up with them. You don't want to wish that on anybody, but, you know, these people that are still going out unawares, congregating, and, you know, I must admit, I did think that Boris may say, you know, that you can sort of go around in minor little groups, like, you know, seeing your friends and family and whatever. But I think, in fairness, and saying it from someone, you know, I'm struggling in my own way, and luckily enough, I have work to give me a focus during these times as well, and taking my own precautions. But it just, as I say, you need to do what's best for everyone, like, you know. And I think, as I say, whether you like Boris or not, I think he's got it right, and I think that was generally the only thing that was going to come out of tonight. Like, you know, we've got to go on for, I mean, is it another 3 weeks that we've got to go on for now? Is it?
Well,
is it another...
I haven't seen anything, but I know Scotland saying they were going to lock down for a further 3 weeks. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if...
It seems to be that as a minimum, doesn't it? Like, a minimum 3 weeks, and then, you know, if anything was to happen during them times. And I think, like you say, I think that the death toll, unfortunately, sort of seems to be lower of a weekend. But I don't think it's a general fair outlook on the actual amount. Like, you know, you sort of get to tomorrow, Tuesday, sort of into the week time, and it seems to rise. So I mean, I think no doubt they'd want to be controlling that and bring that to as low as possible, if not ground it, if you like, and sort of streamline it, and then we can get some sort of normality back in. But I think unfortunately until then it's all backs to the wall and just staying safe and doing the best that we can in between.
Exactly. I mean, Ian makes a good point here. Said he feels that Boris Johnson is relaxing things too soon. Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland not relaxing measures yet. We are, but as I say, because I haven't been able to watch what he said, so I can't really comment.
No.
But from what I'm reading, it doesn't look like there is much things that the many things that are being relaxed all that much. Johnson has said soon be the time to impose quarantine on people coming back into this country by air. Should have done fucking weeks ago. The hospitality industry could open by July, and that at the earliest July, subject to all these conditions and further scientific advice. If and only if the numbers support it, we will hope to reopen at least some of the hospitality industry and other public places, provided they are safe and enforcing social distancing. Schools will return on the 1st of June at the earliest, with primary schools returning first. Also, the next step from Wednesday will be to encourage people to take more and even unlimited amounts of outdoor exercise. You can sit in the sun in your local park. You can drive to other destinations. You can even play sports. We'll come on to that in a minute, but only with members of your own household. But he warns people must obey the rules on social distancing, and to enforce them, the fines police can give out will be increased. Johnson says, with ever increasing data and being able to track its progress, if we as a nation begin to fulfill the conditions I've set out, then in the next few weeks and months, we may be able to go further. And that's what I'm saying. It's a maybe. He said, instead of taking the first careful steps to modify our measures, we now need to stress that anyone who can't work from home, yourself included, for instance, those in construction and manufacturing, should be actively encouraged to go to work. So and then there's just other rhetoric by the looks of things. So that was it. So that's pretty much everything that he talked about. So in general, nothing's really changed. It's just the fact that you can, like you say, you can go out and do a little bit more, as long as you are still keeping to the fact that you are still keeping 2 meters apart from everybody, and making sure that you're just treating people with respect. Because I was saying to my mum this morning, it's the first conversation we'd had in a long time, that I said to her that I thought under any circumstances this would be a time where everybody would be less selfish. We would be more coming together, supporting people, and in certain little areas it seems to be completely the opposite. It really seems like people are getting more selfish.
I think the majority are trying to keep to what we're being told, but it's just that sort of, I guess, what would seem to be a minority. Like you say, that the other day, I think is Victoria Park. That's just a disgrace.
Yeah.
And even the Hackney Police, my brother's a member of the police force, and it was just a thing of, that they couldn't control it. They couldn't get on top of it, and there's nothing they could really do. So it's just leave them at it and leave them to their own devices, which, a lot more people could get hold of that and think, well, if they're getting away with it, then we'll have a little bit of that as well. But it's just not the case, but I think every individual is different, but I think the vast majority, when it comes down to it, will literally do as they're told. And obviously, because we all want that normality back as soon as possible, we don't want it to go on any longer than what it has to. So hopefully, a lot of people and then people know they are, John, do you know what I mean? There's people that have done it. They'll know full well who they are, so hopefully they take a different aspect and a different view on it, which is all you can hope, really, isn't it, I suppose.
Cheesy makes a really good point. So I think it's all about the furlough wages, in my opinion. They want people pay for too long, which is ridiculous. Agreed, mate. Because when I was about to say the Chancellor of the Exchequer, but he's not referred to that anymore. He did say that the furlough scheme was going to be paid by everybody's taxes that have to be paid when they deferred it for that first 3 months. that's where they were getting the budget from. So yeah, and Charlie again makes a very, very good point. He said any relaxings of the rules at the moment, however minor, is completely the wrong move in my opinion. Way too early. Can't disagree with you on that whatsoever. PB's late as usual, but it's always good to see from him. How you doing, mate? I hope you're all right. I mean, granted, it was only a couple of minutes ago, so we've got a few minutes left. Beck says it's too early. Plus, some of the general public have shown we can't actually not be selfish and spend all our days outside now. Yeah, I've had a go at a few people bunching up over the last few days. If I'm honest, Baz says Marshy, stop being a traitor. Robert says people will always take advantage and push the boundaries of the rules, which I'm one of them, to be honest with you, mate. But I don't do it on a selfish level, which a lot of people's will do. And this is exactly what I was coming to. Trains will spike it again. They will, because it'd be interesting to see what my company says in relation to this. But as I say, from our point of view, it was we can still work from home. I was having a conversation with my boss last week about it. Basically saying, not the week just gone, the week before, I should say, basically saying I can't get into work because until we're allowed to get on a packed train again. I can't do it. Otherwise, I can't, and neither can my boss, as well, for that matter, because where he comes from is coming through exactly the same levels. Right, guys, so we've been chatting for almost an hour now. So if you got any questions for me and Marshy, by all means, please do stick them in the chat. And one final thing, mate, just backtracking on something we were talking, well, going back to what we were talking about earlier. Actually, do you know what? I don't think that is Baz from that comment that's in there. Actually, I really don't think that's Baz. What are your thoughts on us having the potential of having a manager like John Lyall again? I know he was, a lot of people turned on him before he left, but in his career, how do you think we're going to get a manager like him again?
I don't know really. I mean, I'd like to say, guttingly, I don't know enough really about him. I've heard different things, and I know the basics, and he managed the team to that sort of famous FA Cup win. But I just, I think I say a lot of it boils down to the hierarchy. I think we need to. I think if they put the money where their mouth is, claim to be supporters, and draft in people, I don't think you're going to get another real big name. I mean, I know Pellegrini was, but only sort of from where he come from, and the players that he had at his disposal at City, come back into the league. What was it, 2012-13, first season, won the league. Didn't do it with us clearly, but then he's not used to working around players like us. He's used to sort of high level intensity and having the players really there at his disposal in order to do something. But I'd like to think we could get a manager that we're just going to stick with for like untold amount of years. Like a Fergie, like a Wenger. Teams that come with the managers that know the club inside out, and just having that one manager that sort of clicks, sort of like Allardyce at the start. He sort of got the players up for it. You knew the sort of football that he was going to play, and then we seem to get managers that take us as far as we can go. And I mean, again, the manager at the helm now, Moyes is, all right, he done well at the start when he first came in and pushed us up a bit and whatever, but he's just another manager that is going to get to a level, and that's as far as he can take us, But then I think there's a decision to be made in lies that, as I've always said, in my opinion, it's sort of like, are we going to be a team that makes up the rest of the league?
Yeah.
Or are we going to push on for like the Europa again and actually get it right? I know we qualified the 2 years in a row with the Astra defeats, which obviously we can only learn by now, and and try and progress a little bit further. But I think there's got to be sort of some form of investment, regardless as to what's going to happen with the transfer window of all this sort of situation going on as it is now. But and I think with that money comes the manager. I think, but then what is the sort of attraction to the club? I know there's no loyalty really anymore, but at the minute, But then again, I guess it's the same with the Newcastle thing, isn't it? Like, what is the attraction there? But they've obviously seen something, actually sold up, and, we'd like that to happen with us. But hopefully one day it can, and I don't think anyone would be, and in their lives, this thing earlier, what we're saying about winning cups and things like that, I generally don't think you're going to do it unless you've got that backing sort of the funding and the fundamentals that come with that, So again, I'd love to think that we can get a manager that we're going to stick by, that everyone loves, everyone understands the way that we want to play football, and see that early, and therein lies sort of attracts the sort of better players that come with it. But I think obviously, this day and age is the money game, isn't it? So you've got to have it, and if you haven't, then I think we're going to make more money off of the players that could potentially be sold. Diop being the latest one, I think. Linked with the other.
Mate, don't even get me started on that stupid rumor. Don't even. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's Mourinho being a big fan. It's a it's sort of like a smokescreen sort of stuff, isn't it? Really, just to try and give everyone something else to talk about, sort of other than this pandemic. And it is going to be at a level where rumours are going to float around, and it'd be interesting to see who we would sort of get, But I think it's going to be a lot more about the outgoings first. Rumours about Declan Rice and maybe Haller I've seen as well, which clearly for me is someone that you really want to work around and get bodies around him. He works obviously cleaner with a supporting striker, and like at Frankfurt, he had the two next to him, didn't he? Jovic and whoever the other fellow was, to get the best out of him. So I think the better calibre players and the better quality players that we possess, you've got to try and get hold of and work around them.
Yeah. Baz, I know which one is you, because the troll account has a small v and your channel has a capital V, so I know which one's you. So that's fine from that side of things, mate. Don't worry about it, guys. Nick, Rebecca, Darren, if you're still about, Charlie as well, because I think if I remember correctly, Charlie's a mod. Can you ban the Claret and Blue Army TV with the small V, please? Because he's it's clearly a fake account once again. I'm hoping this is the genuine Three Hammers, because I know the other messages after this are from him. So Luke is asking, I'm hoping this is Luke, are you Canning Town or Plaistow lad? Nicky, go on, Marsh, you take
me, more Canning Town, really. Same as sort of like Noble, but I live on the south side of the water now, which maybe the shit side
Millwall
of the Thames.
territory.
Yeah, shit side of the Thames, Charlton, Millwall, sort of closer to them. But no, I've always grown up just down the road and always been associated with West Ham. All my family, as I say, goes without saying to West Ham. So I feel thankful for that as well. I think looking back at, sort of the history in Upton Park and it being home and everything, I feel fortunate to my dad and, other members of my family and mates, that have got me into it, because it makes you feel proud, feel fortunate to be a part of this. So, there's no other club that's going to be there for me.
Cheers, Luke. I know it was you, mate. Yeah, but this is the stupid thing. YouTube are getting more and more fake accounts. This is interesting. Luke is saying Mark Noble lived in the street next to me, down Jenkins Road. Luke, to answer your question as well, for that matter, mate, I'm neither. I'm born and raised a Surrey man, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view. It's unfortunate from my side.
Palace,
that's for damn sure. Huh?
Palace, man.
Do you know what, mate? My closest club was actually Wimbledon. That was the closest club, because literally where I grew up, not that far from where Declan Rice comes from, New Malden, Kingston, that side of things. The closest was Wimbledon. But no, I knew some Wimbledon fans, and they were. One guy was a mental case, absolute nutcase. Lovely bloke, but as my late dad would say, £2 short of a fiver. So mate, look, not even close, mate. Not even a close. I'm not far from posh, man. We had a conversation this morning, Sunshine. I ain't posh. But Marshy, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's much appreciated. It's good to get your thoughts on a lot of things. And guys, thank you to everybody that's been in the live chat today. We were on 1540 subscribers, but somebody's unsubscribed. So you were going to hear me have a rendition of Bubbles, but it's not going to happen now, unfortunately. I did say for every 10th subscriber, I'll sing another song until we get to 1600, and it's just not happening at the minute. So that's fine. But guys, thank you very, very much for your time. If you're new around here, welcome. Please do help the channel by liking this video if you've enjoyed it. The more the likes these videos get, the more the more exposure this gets. Tom, where is he? Tom says, get the guitar out again. Nah, not gonna happen, mate. Not gonna happen. Wally says happy. Baz has again, because you can tell it's the real Baz this time. Wally says the same thing, but once he stops moving, there we go. Francis King says, just wait 2 minutes, your sub will go up. Yeah, all right. But yeah, no, this is definitely Baz. Get your bubbles out, John, mate. Nobody wants to see my bubbles. No one wants to see my bubbles.
Get the guitar out, mate.
No, you know, I got. Do you know what the funny thing is, mate? All jokes aside about that. Sorry, it's the fire alarm going off.
Fucking hell, is that telling everyone just to clear off?
The fire alarm's not exactly perfect at the minute, so apologies, guys. It will go off in a second. Yeah, it's just our fire alarm in the house isn't exactly. Bex, your ears. How do you think I'm bloody feeling sitting right underneath it? But yeah, guys, thank you very much for your time. But Marshy, it's great to talk to you.
No worries, mate. No worries.
To everybody else, have a good evening, and I will see you this time tomorrow night. Well, not this time, 6:30 tomorrow evening. So in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, and we'll see you soon.